but I'll give an intro.
I'm gonna be checking the.
Okay. Yeah, I think that we are live. So you also maybe just no pins.
Yeah, now you're there.
Okay. Hi everyone. So this is a very informal Q&A session with the iQuHACK team. We're also planning to go over the way to submit projects since there are a few steps, and we just want to make sure that everything is very clear. But then we can just dive into a very free-form Q&A with some people from the iQuHACK team, and y'all can just ask us whatever you want. Yeah, so I'm just going to start off by sharing my screen and just going through this, and we can include a clip of this on Twitch for playback later. So y'all can review it later. But let me share my screen. So we have posted instructions on how to submit, which you can find if you log in. So actually, let me quickly log into my account. And if you scroll down to this project submission section, you'll see a few steps that you need to take. Many of you have been working in private repositories, for understandable reasons. You want to keep your secret sauce secret before you submit your projects. But we do need you to make your repositories public and in a very particular way. In fact, we want you to fork. The challenge repositories that we've posted online. So for example, we have this iQuTech challenge repository, and the way to fork it is to go up into the top right corner, press this fork button, and then take a little bit of time, and then you'll be able to fork this repository on your own personal account or on a GitHub organization account if you're using that. In any case, you'll have a fork, and what you'll notice about this fork is that it's public, and it can only be public. So we want to do this for two reasons. We want to ensure that the repositories that we get are public, and we want to ensure that that these repositories can be traced back to iQuHACK for our impact tracking and just to aggregate all these awesome projects that you all are working on. So once you've forked this repository, then please commit all of your project code and project materials into this repository. So that's the first step. Fork your division challenge repository. And if you've been working in a private repo, as we said, commit your project materials to this forked repository. So what are these project materials? In your forked repository, we want you to include the project code itself, of course, and a README, including all relevant information, such as a description of the project, instructions on how to run the project, screenshots of some interesting results and other visualizations, a link to your presentation if that applies to you, and links to other materials that you may have prepared. And these could span papers to blog posts to whatever else. And these are all really optional, but the main idea is that we do want you to have a descriptive README on your GitHub repo. And in this README, we also want you to include a paragraph about your team's personal experience at MIT iQuHACK 2022. This is for our own impact tracking, but also our staff and our judges really love to see this sort of personal experience from you all. So once you've prepared your forked repository, then please go to this form that's posted over here. the iQuHACK 2022 project submission form. At this point, we're going to say congrats to you for finishing your project. And now we want only one person on your team to submit this project through this form. You can edit and resubmit this form until 12 p.m. ET on Sunday. But after submitting your form, please do get ready to deliver a short 8-minute presentation where you'll be able to share your screen to judges in Zoom breakout rooms. And these presentations will be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. With a detailed schedule about presentation order to be distributed over the Slack. So be on the lookout for this. Finally, you can also find a scoring rubric, which has been public from the beginning, if you've read the challenge we pose carefully. But feel free to look at the scoring rubric that we will be using. And here are some other frequently asked questions. But please do ask questions in the Twitch chat and in the Slack, and we'll answer all of these. Some other things to point out on this form are that we do want as many people to present as possible. However, we understand some of you are just here to learn, you're just getting started, and you may not want to present. Of course, this would disqualify you from a prize if you don't present. However, you'll still be able to get swag. And we've said this before, but swag will only be sent out to people and teams who submit projects. So to be considered for a prize for one of our awards that we stated in the morning, you must present. However, if your team does not want to be judged for a prize, then presenting is optional, although very highly encouraged. And you may still earn swag after submitting your project even without presenting and being judged. Another important thing to note is that we want not only your GitHub repository, but your GitHub repository at a very particular commit. And this commit has to be authored before 12 p.m. ET. This is just so that our judges are looking at code that you wrote before the hackathon deadline. And the way to get this is you can go into any repository. You can go to the top right where you see all these commits. You can click these commits, and then you can click any one of these commits, and then copy the link above. And this link is what we want you to submit. Another final note here is that we want you to use the emails. We want you to write down the emails of all of your team members, and these emails must be the emails associated with their iQuHACK account. This is so that we can verify that all of your team members are actually have actually registered and been accepted to iQuHACK. Yeah, that's about it for this submission form. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, so we have a question. Someone is asking if everyone must present in a team to be judged. And the answer is you don't have to. You can choose that whichever way you want. It can be one person presenting or all of you, whatever you do to make your presentation nice and to convince the judges that your project is good.
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess the statement is that your team needs to give the presentation, but not every single member of your team has to be involved in actually speaking during that presentation, if you want to get a prize, or if you want to be considered for a prize. And to hype things up a little bit, if you do submit a project, here's like some samples of swag that you maybe shipped. So we have a wonderful shirt and bag, and this is of course subject to change, depending on how many people submit swag. But we've got some really cool items designed here, and I'm sure some of you have already noticed, but this logo is of a duck, right, related to iQuHACK. And this logo has a duck that's alive and dead at the same time. So Schrodinger's duck over here. We also have some other cool things. I hacked a quantum computer at iQuHACK 2022. These might be subject to change, but what won't be subject to change is you getting some really cool swag if you submit a project. Yes, we do ship actually.
You're getting another question if we expect one fork per team. We expect one project submission per team. So
yes. Yeah. Each individual can only be a part of one project that's been submitted, which means that each team can only submit one project. And yeah, we only expect one submission of this form per team. So only one person on that team should submit this form. Cool. Any other questions about this submission stuff? All right, yeah, if not, then yeah, now y'all can just ask any questions that you have. We'll stay here for a little bit. Any logistical questions, questions about quantum computing, questions about MIT, quantum computing, anything really. So yeah, it's a very, very informal Q&A. I'll leave the swag up here because it's pretty sick, yeah. And yeah, we'll be posting playback of these instructions on the Twitch channel, so y'all can review this later as well. Where can we find the submission form? If you go to iQuHACK at .mit.edu, like everything else, this is the one-stop place for all the information that you need. You do have to be logged in. Yeah, and then you can access this form. Circular and square things, I believe, and Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong, I think these are decals, like stickers, high quality, like laptop stickers.
yeah, they are.
What kind of hackathon would this be if you didn't get any laptop stickers? What kind of projects have y'all been working on? Do we have to use the actual hardware or are just the emulators okay? Emulators are fantastic. And I would say that one of the purposes of MIT iQuHACK is to try out real quantum hardware. So, at some point you want to run a circuit on some real hardware. I wouldn't make that point the very end of the hackathon. I would make it like sometime now so that, you don't have to face so long like queue times. And Carlos, do participants have access for a little bit longer after hacking? As
they certainly do for the QTech hardware. For IonQ, you probably don't. But just answering that question from my side, using actual hardware makes things more challenging. You don't have perfect gates and things like that, so you may understand, you get a better knowledge of the actual challenges behind coding on a quantum computer if you code on real hardware. So it's definitely going to be more rewarded by the judges. They're going to appreciate it more if you do that, and it's one of the main points of this hackathon, that we give you the opportunity to work on real quantum hardware. So I think you guys should just use it, because that's an opportunity that you don't have every day.
I wish we had perfect, universal, fault tolerant like qubits, but we're not just quite there yet.
Exactly.
This is kind of the interesting, fantastic, like interesting engineering problem that we're faced with on a daily basis. And so, getting a taste of that during this hackathon, I think is super cool. These imperfect qubits, how can we use them and how can we improve upon them? What's the next question is, how important is it for the user to enter the bases themselves for the for iQuHACK? I'm not sure what that means. So what do you mean bases?
Mihimu, you can just expand on the question and write it afterwards. We can follow it and follow up on that.
So the next question is, where did you guys first learn about quantum computing? Carlos, do you want to take that first?
I learned it I heard about quantum computing before, but I only started thinking about it more seriously after my PhD. I did a PhD in classical photonics. And then I realized that what I was doing was probably pretty useful for quantum photonics, and that led me to quantum computing, and that was very exciting. And that's the work I'm working towards now as a postdoc here at MIT. Yeah. Shantanu, how about you?
I think I heard some whisperings about this new paradigm of computing at the end of high school. And I think at that time, the IBM quantum experience was starting to like get off the ground, but it wasn't like Qisk and everything was not nearly as like built up as it is right now. And so I really started to learn, right? I learned about quantum computing maybe towards the end of high school. I didn't really know what it was. And then through my undergrad, I got involved with some theory-based quantum information science research. And then eventually I transitioned to quantum hardware engineering, working on things like a specific type of hardware efficient quantum error correction called bosonic quantum error correction. That's actually what I continue to work on here at MIT as a PhD student. But yeah, I think I saw like pictures of these golden dilution refrigerators as a high schooler, and I was like, whoa, that's like very cool. And then I learned that they go down to, these temperatures that are like 20 millikelvin, that are orders of magnitude colder than space, which is at 3 Kelvin on average. And I was like, wow, these are literally some of the coolest places on Earth, these quantum computers. So that was pretty cool to learn. Okay, we have another question. Are those do games have to use a GUI, or can they be completely run on the command line? I would say they can be completely run on the command line. Please do include some instructions on how to run them in your README, but I think that should be fine.
Yeah, as long as they are creative and they are exciting, they're gonna work. So you just have to convince the judges, and they are people that know about quantum computing. They are gonna be. It's fine if it doesn't have a fancy GUI or it doesn't have a fancy graphics or something, as long as they are creative, original, or they have something special to them.
Okay, the next question is...
The next question, I know where it's coming from, and it's coming from my living room. So,
yeah.
So we can disregard it, or we can talk about the fundamentals of quantum mechanics, because I'm pretty sure the guys in my living room will need a lot of lectures on that.
Carlos is making his debut as a Twitch streamer today. So he has a lot of support from his friends and family.
Exactly. So
yeah, we can wrap this up at like in a few minutes at 10:30. As the people left on stream, what have you all been working on? Without giving too many spoilers, just to get a flavor of things. A lot. Clearly. Everyone who's on this stream is like, we're trying to take a break here. We're not trying to talk about our work. We've been going at for 12 hours already. Wow, that's like the story of research. Well, we tried something that didn't end up working.
Well, welcome to our life. That's what we do every day. When it works, it's exciting, but it most of the times doesn't. So yeah, you learn from them. Just make sure you learn from each of those mistakes.
The times that it doesn't work is what makes the time that it works so exciting, right? Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
Well, you only have a few more hours left, so you better get your brain running.
Wow, these are two different answers. Like, get some rest, Carlos. Like, you better start working.
Exactly. Who needs sleep tonight?
Who needs sleep tonight? No, you didn't hear that from us. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess one cool part about just hosting one of the cool parts about hosting the hackathon is, of course, seeing all the projects. But I've also been kind of playing around with some of the platforms, and they're really cool. From so yeah, it's a lot of cool opportunities there. Is it one or zero? Is that coming from your?
I don't think so, but still, you can probably Google that, and you will get all the answers you want.
Or none of them.
Or none of them. Quantum flavored classic game. That sounds exciting. You want to tell us a bit more about that, or you don't want to give spoilers?
A classic game with a little bit of quantum spice.
That sounds interesting.
There's this game called Quantum Chess, and when I played it, I found myself wondering: is there actually any advantage in using the quantum like superpositions that you can create of these chess moves? Maybe there's like a rigorous answer as to why or why not. But often has me wondering, if you had some quantum mechanical advantage in the rules of these games, would you even use them? Quantum Pac-Man or Pac-Man? Oh, I like that little cue.
Yeah, that's cool. But I guess you can. I mean, you can probably be pretty clever about how the mechanics of the game work.
That's true. Yeah, it could be kind of fun.
Sounds like you can have some cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. That's a cool idea. Put that up on Steam. I'll put that up on GitHub and we'll download it. Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to play around with some of these projects after the hackathon.
Is anyone trying to do? There's a quantum game on Steam apparently.
I think it's the quantum chess. I know quantum chess is on Steam. Quantum chess.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that there's a free version, not by the same developer, not by the original developer, but that's the version that I've used before. I think quantum chess, open source. Let's see. Well, maybe it's this one. I don't think so. No, no, this is the one that I think Google now supports. But yeah, there's an open source version out there if y'all want to try it out.
There was a game that was with quantum optics that you will have like little photon sources and you will have beam splitters and things like that, and you will have to set up your optical path to get the right interference patterns and things like that. That was pretty cool. That was something you could play on the browser.
You know, it's kind of funny. I was once working on this optimal control project, like optimal quantum control, and I think they wanted to test, or I think this was some other group, but they wanted to test how this optimal control compared to just like what humans would come up with, right? And so they literally released an app where they asked like users to come up with pulses, I think like just like draw pulses or something like that, and then compared what those pulses were to like what the like, machine learning approach came up with. It's kind of interesting to see. I think the human intuition did slightly better. So, yeah.
We got a very good question actually. Who came up with the iQuHACK logo with the dead alive duck? And that was a PhD student from my group, from Dirk Englund's group at MIT, Ian Kristen, who came up with it for the first iQuHACK a couple of years ago. And yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, it's been stay there for since then, unchanged.
It's a pretty good logo.
Schrodinger's duck.
Schrodinger's duck. Yeah, but I think if y'all are looking for some nice quantum games, yeah, definitely the quantum chess game on Steam is nice.
Is any of you guys working, trying to do some visuals for the games with the quantum computer? Because I thought that was going to be cool. If anyone does some, yeah, try some visuals.
Anything like creativity, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. It could probably qualify pretty well for the creative hack award, and it's something that is maybe relatively easy to add to a game in some way.
It's interesting.
So just use the randomness, or use some little quantum circuit to make some
We can maybe end it now that it's 30 minutes past 10. Then we got some fun questions, and then I guess the main purpose of this was to just go through the project submission. So we're going to be posting a clip of that in case some of y'all missed it. And of course, feel free to reach out to either Carlos or me or any of the staff, mentors, etc., in the Slack channels. We can answer any questions there. Cool. Cool. Thanks for jumping on, Carlos.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. Good luck.
Bye-bye.